हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम। कैसे हैं आप?
हरे हरि बोल। कृपा प्रभु की। Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And Hare Krishna. Then we pranam to Mataji also. Mataji has just sent the message that the Mataji will be listening. Thank you so much for your dedication, Mataji. And I hope, Prabhuji, everything is good at your place in the family. Everyone is okay.
यस यस प्रभु जी। और आपकी कुंभ कैसी रही?
बहुत अच्छी कृपा रही प्रभु की। बहुत अच्छे दर्शन हुए। एंड लेटे हुए जो हमारे हनुमान जी हैं और जो भी चीज़ें वहाँ पे प्रसिद्ध हैं, हम भक्तों के साथ ही गए थे, भक्तों के साथ ही ट्रैवल हुआ था और बहुत अच्छा रहा प्रभु जी कृपा। जैसे महाकुंभ 144 ईयर्स के अंदर एक बार आता है, तो बहुत ब्लेस फील करते हैं
हाँ हाँ
कि
हाँ।
हमको मौका मिल पाया इस चीज़ का। थैंक यू सो मच। हरी
प्रभु की कृपा है। हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna. And Hare Krishna, Anil Prabhuji. So good to have you. I hope you are doing well as well, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, नटवर प्रणाम्स टू यू
Hare
टू।
Krishna.
या
Dandavat
ऑल गुड
pranams.
प्रभु जी, सब अच्छा चल रहा है बाय
Very
कृष्णास ग्रेस।
nice. Hare Hare Bol. Prabhuji, you got
नाइस
a
टू।
very
या
nice picture, I think, of yours, Mataji and Jay's, and the deity lordship in the background, the altar.
या
Hare Krishna. Very nice, Prabhuji. Very nice. Is Jay doing well?
या ही इज डूइंग वेल एज वेल।
I know he's busy.
he just catching up. No, he's not that busy. He's catching up with his, he has ample of time for his leisure activities also.
Okay.
So he's going to school, doing his regular stuff, and
Mhm.
also doing his screen time and everything in balance.
Nice, very nice. Hare Krishna. There is a Mataji from US who was in touch, and because of the some timing, we were doing the kids since I've moved on to Middle East, so the timing is not able to work out. So I'm requesting Mataji because Mataji would like to do some service. That Mataji will pick it up. And if those sessions start, I will be in touch, Prabhuji. And I think it would be great if Jay could serve in those because I know he's a great devotee. And until unless we keep him engaged, I think very soon he will feel, being very quickly get into the teenager, and that's it. The spirituality usually takes the back seat.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Prabhuji, he will join definitely. So
Hare
let me know
Krishna.
whatever the timings are, we can make time
Sure.
for it.
Hari. I will be in touch, Prabhuji. I'm working with Mataji to
Yeah,
do some service, so we'll be in touch. So great.
sure,
Hare
sure,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
And thank you everyone for joining. So, of course, last week we didn't meet, so I was away. My apologies, but it was a great opportunity to visit Mahakumbh in association with devotees. So that's the main attraction. That holy dip was there, which we did in Brahmur at around 3 a.m. But all the devotees were together. We were doing kirtan, as you can imagine, the Sankirtan, the Kathas, all the discourses, some new devotees and a lot of old devotees. I've met them maybe 8 years back, and since then we've been in touch. But this is the first time after 8 years we could meet to each other in person. And there were a few others who couldn't come, and we missed each other's association and hopefully planning some other yatra. And this is the beauty of yatra. It's not only the destination where we go, it's during the journey with whom we go. I think that really, really matters. So this is a beautiful yatra which Prabhupada has put together. And the very first thing we bow down to Prabhupada for his blessings. And the heart is always full of gratitude for him, what he has done, what he has established for us, so we can be part of this global family wherever we go. Wherever. I mean, I'm here in Saudi, Sanatan Dham we call, and we have devotees here as well. And devotees do this. Of course, there is no public temple, but we have established few things, or devotees they have done it, and based on the circumstances, I think it's a great association which we could avail here. Otherwise, Bahrain is not far, and I was lucky enough to travel week before that to Bahrain, and a great hospitality. And I really, really felt that I'm meeting some of my family members, and that was the very first time I met. It just happened that I'm doing Bhakti Vedanta, and one of my Bhakti Vedanta mate, student, fellow student, is the temple president of Bahrain. So we were just discussing something, and I found out, and I thought I'm going to visit soon. And Prabhuji said, "Well, let me know." Prabhuji couldn't be there, but then he mentioned my name to someone else, and I took two other devotees with me who are very new and they're learning, so they felt even more than me. Of course, I was eager to have devotee association, but they were surprised, pleasantly surprised by the hospitality of other devotees, the way they've been treated and how they were welcomed. And we attended the lecture there. We were part of a bit of artis, so it was a great. And if we haven't already, today is 1st of February, so I will request each and every one of you to make some kind of, like, Mataji sometimes misses the session to go to the manor, and that inspires us, because I know Mataji lives in South London where I used to live, or the families are still there. I know how much hard work it is to, well, I used to drive, but even if you somebody else will drive you, 1.5 hours it could be. Coming back, it could be 2 hours. So whenever Mataji is saying that Mataji is missing the class because he needs to go to the temple, manor, then it's a great opportunity. And I feel blessed to have association of such a devotee who is always ready to take. It's there's a word in Sanskrit, tiksha, which is physical and mental endeavor we do to fortify it, to solidify it, our spiritual progress, that what may come, we will turn up. So if you haven't already, then it's still not too late to make a resolution that maybe once in a month, once in a quarter. It should be regular to start with, and then we can increase the frequency. But it should be a regular thing. Even if we'll say once in a year, but at least we will go once in a year, what we will say. So Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. And Vaibhav Prabhuji has just joined with us. And Vaibhav Prabhuji is here with me in Sanatan Dham, and he was one of those two devotees I mentioned who accompanied me, or I actually did with him when we went to Bahrain, Balram Desh. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, welcome. I hope you're doing well.
Yes. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Hare Bol. Great timing you joined, Prabhuji. We are just going to do the Mangalacharan and then we shall resume our session. So feel free to join me if you like. अज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवै नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवादूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। शिल गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna. I had so many realizations while I was reciting today's Mangalacharan because the yatra which I was blessed to be part of, Mahai Kumbh, we were in 3 days, we went to three cities, Kumbh, Prayagraj, and then next day we traveled to Kashi Vishwanath, we did the darshan, and then the third place, Ayodhya, right at the end, and then we took the flight back. And I think in 3 nights, so I was back midnight. So in 3 nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I was back. 3 nights, I think I was in bed, I think maximum 3 hours, and that was just one day. We we didn't sleep the whole night, and we walked. So we were 30s dis devotees, and we came back, took prasadam, and most of the devotees, they said, okay, we're going to go to the bed because we need to wake up 3, and it was already midnight, and I think 6 of us, we decided that there's no point if this is one of those things which happens once in 144 years, then there is no point wasting time sleeping. And this is one person said it. One of us said something, and second person said, "Are you going to say what I'm thinking?" And the third one said it. And this way, those four, we were four initially, and two other devotees. I think they had already made their plan and they were waiting, but they didn't know that we will reach to that, or we didn't know we will reach to the same conclusion for that night. And around midnight, we left. From midnight till 2, 3 a.m., we just walked by 3 a.m., quarter to 3, we were there in the water in Holy Depot. We just walked, and there is no limit of how much spiritual you can get when you reach to these dharma. And the association of almost anyone, even those who've been serving, driving the electric rickshaws there, because they've been listening, they've been taking prasadam there, and they're taking the devotees from one place to another. And more or less all the spiritual leaders of the country, they were there, and some of them were there during that weekend, because that weekend was supposed to be less busier than other weekends, because it was not the Shahi Snan, royal bathing, but still it was incredibly. I mean, in my life, I've never seen so much population, and I was born in Delhi, so lived in there. Then I've lived in Dubai, Paris, London, and all these places are very crowded places. But that place is like, even if you will get to, which we did, top of the tallest building you could get in the premises, as far as you could see, you can only see humans. You won't. And the similar thing in Ayodhya, people were falling down there, and it was a sight to witness or not to witness. But a lot of good come out of it. The main thing I was saying was devotee association, and we did the even in the bus, because most of the time we spend time in the bus traveling from one place, like from Kashi to Ayodhya, 4 hours roughly, and that happened between midnight and 4 a.m. And when we reached there, we didn't sleep. We just took the bath, and went straight to the temple in Ayodhya. And that was a massive, I think, 3-4 hours back and forth. And then we had prasadam after that. So it was a mercy of the Lord that I think all the devotees came back safe, and all the devotees had a great association of each other. And I was just thinking that how much blessed we are. I didn't actually realize until I came back, and when I didn't tell a lot of people, but some of them who knew or who found out because I was away on Sunday, uh, then they actually found it very surprising that how could I do it. And when I thought about it, I think I couldn't have done it if it wasn't for the devotees association. So it's all the sadhu sangha. Once the only one thing we need to do is that to be in association with devotees, and they will take you there. Like Srila Prabhupada ji said, that if you can't do anything else, just hold on to my dhoti and I will take you there. And it's not literally the dhoti itself, but all the all the jnana, all the discourse, all the temples, all this beautiful family which Srila Prabhupada ji has put together. Just keep ourselves in this association, and I think the movement itself will keep you moving on your spiritual progress. So I have felt it. I hope you feel the same. And I can say it for Weber Prabhuji because he was there when I said we went to Bahrain, and we are so motivated that we would like to visit on a regular basis. Imagine it's a different country. We crossed the border, but again, fortunately enough that it's not that far. And we don't mind doing it just to get the devotees association and Lord's say darshan, which we usually crave for. So let's come back. And we did discuss a bit of Shri Ishopanishad there, because it all comes to the prayers. And this is what I was saying, that a lot of realizations while I was doing the Mangala Charan, that the whole essence of Mangala Charan, where your mind, your brain, and your consciousness is, that's the whole essence of the last few verses we are on in Shri Ishopanishad, which are prayers to Ishwar to reveal himself. Now, how and why Krishna will reveal And I did discuss last time, I delivered another sessions in another forum, and a devotee asked me, so should I pray for somebody's recovery or I shouldn't? And in gist, my reply was that I don't think I can or anybody should guide you what you should pray or what you should not pray, because it's a very, very intimate and personal relationship with the devotee, with the Lord. So there are only two people. So if the Prabhuji who asked and said, well, if you feel so and if you feel it's right, go for it. But if you need to judge yourself, because nobody else will do. Because when we worship, when we do the prayer, so there is a two different things. So this morning, another devotee sent me the question saying that I understand chanting is a type of puja, and when we do puja, we are supposed to be clean. But when we do the chanting, then even if we are not clean, we are allowed to do chanting. So is it good or is it not good? And I don't feel good because I've seen a lot of other devotees, senior Vaishnavas, they do it. And this happened. The devotee was there with us on the bus, and of course, while we are in the bus, what else devotees will do? If we are not hearing Hari Katha, if we are not doing Kirtan, then we chant. There isn't anything else for us to, and there's nothing else the devotees would rather do. And but of course, we might be eating and washing hands in and there. We might not be as clean as we would like to be because we didn't sleep. We slept in the bus, maybe whatever we could. So we are not as clean as we should be. So when we chant, like when we do the puja, then we, like especially in the morning and even after coming home from the office, we take the bath, we get clean, and before we take the prasadam, we do the puja. So it's always a very clean state of body and mind, never mind the consciousness, that we offer our services to the Lord in terms of the puja, the prayers, the worship. But the devotee said that I understand chanting is a kind of puja as well. So should we not clean ourselves? And that's a great question to be. And before I share what I shared with the devotee, and I just said that this is my understanding is, and I'm looking at it. He couldn't make it to the sessions because he said he would love to. But anybody got any? Because I know a lot of devotees here chant on a regular basis. So regardless of how many rounds we do, but we do chant. So anyone got any realizations, any comments? If somebody will ask you, what do you think? Have you ever thought about it? Please, Weber Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think I have asked. I'm not sure whether I asked it here or somewhere else, but I did ask. I, at one point, I used to. I would rather chant after I clean myself after getting up, and then for that reason, like I would, once then when I do the chanting, I usually try to finish it in the morning before going to work. And then because of that, then I cannot do some other stuff like I used to go out for a walk. And then it's someone, I think I discussed with someone, and then I was told, no, you can chant, and then you can do your, you can like after you get up, you can chant. So I tried that for a couple of days, but still, I didn't feel that good, to be honest. And again, I even if I get up I usually get up before like 4:30. So I just first thing I do is I clean. I mean, I take a bath or shower, um, and then that's when I start, and that's when I feel good. Or as opposed to if I don't clean myself and then chant, and then after finishing chanting I take shower. So I don't know. I this is my take on it, but I've tried both. And then uh, having cleaning yourself, or rather like cleaning, taking a shower and then chanting, I feel it much better as opposed to doing it otherwise.
Hari Bol. Great. Thank you for sharing that, Prabhuji. And I completely agree with you. And this is why I said to Prabhuji as well. But anyone else would like to share? Right? Okay. So, right, the way I put it forward, if we take the analogies, and this is a learning I got from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada explained a lot of things from analogies, and I think analogies stay with people. So let's say if we are on a scale, a horizontal scale, in the middle we have 0, and if we get better, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will reach to 10 or 100. And if we are not doing well, where we are 0, we go down, -1, -2, -3. Let's say if you are at 0, and so like Prabhuji said, if let's say if the scale is 1 to 10, so 10 is 100%. If we have the opportunity where we can clean ourselves, body, mind, if the purity of the consciousness is there, that when we sit for the chanting, we can't, we there is only one motive and one focus, which is the name of the Lord. That's it. That's 10. That's the best thing ever. We sit down, we chant, we don't move, we are clean, we are not thinking of anything, we are just listening to the name of the Lord which we are taking, right? So what Srila Prabhupada said, from our tongue, from we are taking the name of the Lord, and from our ears, we are listening. That's it. Nothing else there in between. And we are not even thinking anything. We are just listening. The whole focus is on listening. That's 10. That's 100%. But what if we can't do it? Let's say we are in the bus, which, for example, what Prabhuji's query was. We are in a bus. Now, in a bus, if you are driving here and there, the hectic and chaotic journey we had, then maybe we will eat a bit in between. And then maybe we will not clean ourselves that much because we didn't even sleep. Like from 12 to 4, we were there in the bus. And what if we feel like 4 o'clock when we are reaching, what we feel like now, if we can do chanting, should we do it or not? Or throughout the journey, maybe in somewhere in between, we have taken the prasadam, lunch prasadam, and then we come back to the bus and we are driving again for 2 hours. Now we have two options. Option one, we don't chant at all. Why? Because we are not clean, right? We have just taken prasadam, but we have washed hands, maybe. We have washed our mouth, gargles, and all. We have. But it's not one of those times which we usually do in the morning. We haven't eaten anything. The whole focus is there. Or maybe we are not clean because we're in the bus. Sometimes we are touching here and there. We help with the luggage. We move things here and there. The hands are not clean. So with not so clean body and mind, and we are half sleepy and we are still doing the chanting. So there are only two options. One, we chant with unclean body and mind, or we don't chant. Hare Krishna. Weber Prabhuji, you unmuted yourself.
Oh.
Please.
You did notice.
Yes.
Yes, bro. Just another thing came to my mind is, except like if you go to ISKCON temples, then yes, you have the facility to wash your hands and feet before you enter the temple. But it's not the case in many other temples in India. So, and
True.
I always like whenever or after since I started visiting ISKCON temples, I always feel like there are so many other temples. I mean, I had as a child I visited, or even now I visit, and then so I for sure what we do is you take your shoes or whatever footwear out, and then knowingly unknowingly you just enter the temple without cleaning
Mm.
yourself. So that is
Mhm.
also not correct. But again, this is, of course, if you think seriously, then yes, that's not correct. But then there are many people who just go ahead and do it, knowingly,
Yep.
unknowingly, probably.
Mhm. Yes.
So in some cases, like, okay, I can understand what you're trying to relate to. Like, when you're traveling and you really want to not waste your time doing any other thing other than like completing your rounds, or want to finish that thing, or want to do that thing, so that you because you know that you want to get it done, as opposed to not doing it. So that may be an exception, but again, the basic question is, when you do your regular chanting, when you are home, when you are following your normal routine, so is that again, like, it's good, not good, that is one thing, or should we not, that is another thing.
Mhm.
So that still, I think, it's unanswered, or rather, I don't know whether there is any right or wrong answer, but I would still like to know more. So that traveling
Great.
can be an exception, but when
Yes.
you're in your daily routine, when you have a choice, what do
Mhm.
you do?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You're right. And we will discuss more on that. And I really loved the way you concluded that I would like to hear more. And that's one thing we need. And to know that is Anil Prabhuji, you have just taken your hand out. We were just coming to you. Prabhuji, please. Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. It's a very interesting topic, Prabhuji. Thing is, see, I mean, it would really, I would say it really depends upon your circumstances. It depends upon at what level the devotee is. If a devotee is at a very high level and is quite advanced and is quite determined, then for that devotee, yes, I think it becomes a mandate also in a sense. And the devotee himself or herself in that situation would feel a bit uncomfortable, taking chanting Lord's name without uh, cleansing physically and mentally, of course. But if a devotee is just trying to progress, then I think the way the psychology works is, if at such a stage, the devotee starts taking the liberty of not taking of or postponing or procrastinating taking Lord's names or chanting, based on the excuse that, oh, today I didn't get a chance to shower myself for some reasons, then it kind of becomes a regular habit, and that will kind of inculcate bad habits then, or draw away. So it really depends, I think, on what level the devotee is. Like, probably I know most of the people here are highly dedicated, but for people like me who always take this liberty, today I haven't taken shower in the morning, so let me procrastinate and take it out in the evening. And then sometimes it so happens that after taking shower in the evening, you don't get that much of time, and for some reasons it gets you completely miss it out. So it
Right.
really depends upon the psychology and the level of, I would say,
Yes.
of devotee.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hari Hari Bol. Yes, that's so true, Prabhuji. And that's the reason we have three different categories of devotees been mentioned, like Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam. Neophyte, and who is a marginal in between. And then we have the Uttamadhikari, those are pure devotees. And you're right, it really matters, because another point is that, again, this is what the scriptures will say. What the scriptures say, that, see, we are saying we need to clean our body, right? Or we need to clean our clothes. That's it. Body is also a cloth for the soul. But let's say the material body we have, then the clothes we have on the material body, we need to clean them. And that's what we are saying, that we need to have clean body and clean mind and clean clothes. Now, how we clean? We clean it with water and soap, right? Whatever the dirt is, we rely on the water and the soap to wash away the dirt. Now, what we're saying is, the Lord's name can't do that. We rely on the water and the soap, that they are much more potent, that if our body will come in association with the water and the soap, our body will get cleaner. But if our body is in touch, the sense objects will come in touch with the Lord's name, then our body will not get clean. Is this what we're thinking? But again, you're right that it's just the consciousness we are in. And that consciousness is what makes us, like what you said, which category we fall into. Even though this categorization of the devotees, this is mainly for our own understanding, not to categorize other devotees. So we don't see someone and say, oh, you are Kanishta, I will treat you that way. Or you're pure devotee, I will treat you that way. We consider everyone as pure, and we treat everyone equal. And this is what the scripture says. Sthit pragya. So it's like equilibrium, and everyone from the same eye, same stature. You don't really differentiate. But for your own understanding, where you are, you will try to get better and better. So completely agree with you, Prabhuji, what you said. It really depends where we are. And that's the reason I thought it would be great what we were discussing this morning, that we will raise it here as well. So thank you so much, Anil Prabhuji. Anything else you would like to add, Prabhuji?
I think that's all, Prabhuji. Sorry,
Hare
taken
Krishna.
away your time, but
No,
yeah,
no, no,
this
no,
was
it's
very
always. Yes. No, it's always great to, yeah, and that's the reason I changed the slides in the background, because some of the devotees, they might think, oh, well, why are we discussing it? Then I thought, okay, you better focus on the slides. But the whole idea is of these sessions, if you think about, is to understand what we are doing. And if chanting, one of the other thing I said to the devotee, that you said that chanting but puja, the prayers are custom based. They could be cultural rather than worshipping. So we do the puja and there might not be any spiritual thing in it. And we have seen these kind of pujas. We might have done it and still do similar kind of pujas where we don't see any spiritual upliftment. The chanting, on the other hand, is where one of the senior devotees said to me that whatever we do in Krishna movement is supposed to enhance our chanting. If it's not doing that, then there is no point doing it. Until unless we distribute books, and until unless we are getting the self-realization from the book distribution that our chanting is getting improved. If we are eating prasadam and if our chanting is not getting improved, that means something is wrong where something is missing. So at the end, the whole point is that our chanting should get. So to understand what to chant, how to chant, where to chant is so important. Of course, we are focusing on Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. A lot of times other devotees, they have said, those who have recently joined and they have attachment with the mantra their whole family been doing, and they say, why we can't do that, why can't we do this? And it's really where the people are from. And this is how Krishna did in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said that okay, if you can't do this, do this. If you can't do that, at least do this. If you can't do nishkam karma yoga, do karma yoga. If you can't do karma yoga, do karma kand. At least don't do vikarma, which is wrong, negative. At least do karma kand, which is like doing the pious activities with the hope that something will happen, something good will happen, which is like doing the prayers and the pujas. So it is indeed very, very, very important. So again, if you remember, like what Prabhuji you summarizes very nicely, that what are the options? If we can say, okay, after cleaning myself, will do it, which is great. But sometimes we postpone and we don't get the opportunity. Whether we get the opportunity or not, we are definitely missing that bit of the opportunity. If for example, like let's say again, take the example of a bus. If you say, oh, half an hour later we will get the stop, or 1 hour later we will get the stop, and we will wash ourselves. Like somebody said that we were eating, like let's say a fruit we have eaten. After we have eaten the fruit, we haven't washed our face, we haven't washed our mouth, and then our mouth is not clean. Should we chant? Let's say somebody will say, oh well, let's clean the mouth in half an hour and an hour when the bus will stop. Or maybe sometimes we have the water, we gargle then and there. But well, it's our decision. We are going to deprive ourselves of chanting for that half an hour, because we would like to have clean mouth. Or we just say, Lord, I'm there at the 0 at the moment, right? If I will wash myself, I will be on 10, for example. If I won't wash myself, let's say I will be on 2 or 3. But if I will not do chanting at all, I will stay on 0. And of course, if we will do Nam Aprad, then from 0, I will go down to -1, -2, which we don't want to. But if the location, the circumstances are not clean, which is we are in the bathroom, in toilet, and then if we do it, that's not a Nam Aprad, right? That's not a Nam Aprad. And but that's above 0. If you don't chant at all, however, I'm not saying go and chant there, but if we chant there, that is still a bit above 0. And I can give you a personal example. I was there in Manor, and I was doing Bhakti Vaibhav course, or sorry, Bhakti Shastri course, I think, during that time. And we had a break. And there were other courses going on as well. We had a break. I went to loo, and I was standing there. A devotee came in, and he was chanting loud and clear. He did his business, washed his hand, and while he was going out, he looked at me and he said, you didn't mind that I was chanting?" And I said, "No, I didn't mind. I'm doing Bhakti Shastri. I'm okay." Then we went out and he held me. And he told me that he did that intentionally. He said, "I always do it intentionally. So people, that's his practice." He said, people ask him that, "Isn't it wrong that you are taking the name of the Lord, like you're chanting Mahamantra in the loo?" And then he said that I get the opportunity to clarify this to others that no, you can. Because the holy name is potent enough that it will not get dirty, even if the circumstances are dirty, but on the contrary, it will clean you even when the circumstances are dirty. He said that he does it intentionally, especially in the toilet, especially when he sees somebody else is there. And well, I didn't ask him, I didn't object. And then he went even further, asking me that, "Do you have any objection?" And I guess if I had said yes, he would have explained me, which he did it anyways when we went out. And then I know he's a great devotee. But he does it all the time, what he's explained to me. So that's another part of the thing. Do we want to deprive ourselves of that time because we are not fully clean as we would like to be? Or we would say, you never know, like what Prahlad Maharaj said to his friends, that you never know what will happen in future. Will you get chance to grow up? Will you get chance that half an hour journey of the bus, what if in 10 minutes, bang, we will leave our body, the accident happens and off you go. Happens all the time. Realistic scenario, it could happen with anyone at any time. We deprived ourselves of that half an hour not taking the name of the Lord, relying that we will clean ourselves, which is great if you can. But don't miss out taking the name of the Lord just because you are unclean or you consider your body as unclean. The holy name is potent enough to clean the body. If the material water and material soap can do, the spiritual holy name can clean much, much, much better than that. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, would you like to add a bit more? Hari Bol. Because you have left yourself unmuted, Sath, you would like to.
Oh, no, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Sorry, I
Krishna.
didn't realize
Hari
that.
Bol. No worries. But thank you so much, Prabhuji. You're so right. And thank you so much, Vaibhav Prabhuji, that you raised the query and you shared, you had the realization, you shared it as well. And it's one of those, at the end of the day, it's one of those, if you don't feel like it, then nobody else could say it's between you and Krishna. But of course, the whole thing we are saying is that don't deprive yourself of taking the name of the Lord. And there's no excuse good enough to postpone taking the name of the Lord. And that's it. That's what we are saying. That's it. The whole, like what Prabhuji said, that I will give you again my realization. As I was saying, I was having so many realization while I was doing the Mangalacharan. my mind was diverted. And that moment I thought, so I was there in the bus, and one of our Prabhuji who actually organized, he is a great devotee, and fortunately enough, God brothers of mine. We know each other for a while, and we have served on different platforms. And I was half asleep, but Prabhuji knows that I wouldn't mind. So he kind of wake me up and he said, okay. And so we were doing Kirtan and I was also doing Kirtan. I was also doing Japa and I also half sleep. I don't know where I was at that moment mentally. But he said, okay, now, so we finished the Kirtan. And I think in next few seconds, he announced in the bus that, okay, now VP Govindadas Prabhuji will say a few words. And I thought, really? I'm half asleep here, right? But I got up. I went there. I had to drink water to bring back to my senses. And I think took like 30 seconds before I was fully awake. Well, I did the Maha Mantra in the beginning. But what happened after that? I explained why I do Om at a stretch level before we do the Mangalacharan. So I did the Mangalacharan before saying anything, which is usually a custom, and seek the blessings. I explained that there is a great devotee at Manor who does that, and I've learned from him. And I've reaped the significance and the benefits of doing that. So I was explaining that to others that I'm going to do that because usually that doesn't happen. So some of them they had attended some of my sessions, so they knew about it, but others they didn't. So I explained everyone, and then while I was explaining, of course, I was thinking of manna. I did the Mangalacharan, and you won't believe in the beginning, maybe I just did the very first Guru Pranam mantra, and I forget. I forgot the Mangalacharan, and I was completely blank. And then I asked, and everybody was thinking, well, some of them they didn't know me at all, right? And they thought, who is this person who is going to say something who doesn't even remember Mangalacharan? And I said, my apologies. Could someone remind me where I was? And somebody reminded, I went it through. And then I said, well, before I go further, I would like to explain you what happened there. And this is a surprise to me as well. But what happened there, that when I was explaining about Om, I stretched, I explained everyone, and I was thinking of, I mentioned the devotee, yeah, and he's from Vrindavan, so I know him well. He went to ISKCON Gurukul, and that's how he learned Sanskrit and all the yagyas and the proper way of doing these rituals. I was thinking of manna, and I was thinking of the Lordship, and then I kind of felt that separation. That it's been a while since because I've been traveling. I'm here in Middle East. I couldn't travel, and I did the Guru Pranam mantra. And after Guru Pranam mantra, which is we do Pranam mantras when we go to the temples. So like when we are at the front of Srila Prabhupada there, when we go down, we do Srila Prabhupadaji's mantras, right? And sometimes we do Guru Maharaj's mantras before we do anything. So I I completely got disconnected what I was saying, and I felt like I was there in manner, right at the front of the Lordship. Took me a few seconds to come back. And I said, well, that's what happened, and my apologies. But this is the beauty. Like what Prabhuji was saying, is a consciousness where you are. So I wasn't there when I was doing Mangalacharan. But when they reminded me, of course, because I've done Mangalacharan so many times, I don't know if I should feel good or bad. But then the thing is, the reason I'm sharing this, that this word should is open to discussion. What works for me might not work for you. So I should not say to you that you should do that or you should not do that. Of course, we can try different things. I can say, well, this worked for me, you also try. It might work for you. But there is no guarantee that what will work for me will work for you. And hence, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has given so many different paths. That's why we say we don't need to imitate anyone, right? If we can get it inspired, we can get motivated, but we don't need to imitate anyone. Of course, if imitation is inspiring us, then that's a different thing. Like somebody wearing dhoti, and if you like, oh, the person is looking nice wearing dhoti, let's wear us as well. And then maybe when we wear it, we say, wow, I really feel a bit more spiritual. Let's take the beats now. Let's do the chanting. Like what Srila Prabhupada ji said, well, and many other his direct disciples said it, that doesn't really matter. There is actually a poem written of, I forgot the name of the Maharaj who wrote the poem, but the poem is there which says, well, actually, it's not Maharaj. I think it's in Guru Parampara. And then one of the Maharaji kind of changed few things, not changed, kind of added few things in the poem, added purpose to it, added few lines to it, made it more meaningful on a day-to-day purposes in this Kali Yuga, because it's the previous poem was very old and written in different language. What the gist of the poem is, what we just discussed, and which is the most important thing, that whether our mind is there or not, whether our body is clean or not, whether we feel like it or not, whether we think there is any good in it or not, whether we have trust, we have faith, whether we have missing anything, chant. So the way it goes, whether you have taken shower or not, I'm just paraphrasing, whether you have taken shower or not, chant. Whether your mind is there or not, chant. Whether you have eaten food or not, chant. Whether you have spoken to somebody or not, chant. Whether you have faith or not, chant. So this way it goes a lot of things, and the whole focus is on chant, 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 chant. Whether it's mechanical chanting, chant. So sometimes people say, oh well, whenever I do the chanting, I always feel mechanical, and hence I stopped it. Well, what about that doing mechanical chanting is like the first stage, and only after doing mechanical chanting for so long, we able to reach to the next. And this is what we say, bhava and prema comes right at the end. In the beginning, it's unearth nivritti. All the unearths are going down, right? Like when we have utensil which we need to clean, when we are cleaning the utensil, the dirt comes out. And people will say, oh, well, we had a clean utensil before because the dirt was right at the bottom and we could not see dirt. We might be able to see, right, it's at the bottom. But when we are cleaning now, the dirt is coming on the top. And you say, well, it's even more dirtier than before. Well, unearth nivritti, the reduction, the elimination of the anarthas. So this is a step before we reach to the most cleansed state of mind, which is bhava and pure love, prema for the Lord. So we have to go through that process. So the whole essence is, regardless of anything, chant. This is from the Guru Parampara. So I just thought I'll let you know that we don't judge anyone, but at the same time we don't imitate. Of course, if the imitation is to get inspired, that's a different thing. Like somebody put the tilak, I also like to put the tilak. Maybe I don't know the significance, but that feels good. That imitation. But then if you try to understand why it is, that imitation will help us to progress further. But the prayers where we are, they're very personal. And when these personal prayers go further, then only Krishna realizes. Because Krishna, that's another thing. If Krishna is like a sun, what we usually say, Bhagavan, and then the sun rays, they fall on us. The sun rays fall on everyone. Then Krishna's love is already there. The mercy is already there. The whole shower is there. Is it? Please shower your mercy on us, we say. So the mercy, the shower of the mercy is open. We are under the cloud. We need to move out of the cloud. We are looking away from the sun and we can't see the sun. We just need to turn towards sun. Or we are looking towards the sun, but our eyes are closed. Just open the eyes. Now think, three examples have three states in this analogy I've said. First, the cloud is there, right? So there is an obstacle in between, and this obstacle is actually not big enough to, so if you think of the sun and the sunlight falling, the cloud is very small compared to the sun and the sunlight, right? The cloud is very temporary. If there is a cloud in London, that's only in London. If it's in Dubai, it's only in Dubai, and you can see the limits of that cloud. But sun, wherever you will go on the planet, obviously where the day is, you can see like half of the earth. If you say, you can see the sun. So sun is bigger than cloud, but that cloud is big enough to hide, to obstruct those sun rays falling onto us, which is like we need to move out of the shadow, right? So these are the circumstances. We need to move out of it. The second example, we don't need to move anywhere physically. We just need to turn towards the sun. We are looking away from the sun. There is no cloud. We can't see sun because we are looking in different direction, which is, so in first example, if you think about, then somebody is sitting in cinema. Well, of course, if you take a devotee will able to see the Lord there as well. But the neophyte, somebody who's new might not. But if you put the neophyte, somebody who's very new in the temple, circumstances changed. The cloud is gone. The temple is there, right? Most of the people feel pious to be there in the temple. That's the first thing. You've changed the circumstances. But let's say if you are there in the temple, and then within the temple, we are talking about something else. We are talking about politics. We talk about cricket within the temple, right? What do we need to do? We just need to look towards God. The deity is there. We need to change the conversation we are having. We don't need to move anywhere, like moving from cinema or pub to the temple. We just need to look towards, just the focus, the attitude just needs to be shifted a bit. That's it. And the third one, where we don't even need to move, we just need to open our eyes. That's it. We just need to open our eyes, which means we are there right at the front of the Lord. What are we looking at? Are we looking at the jewelry of the Lord? Sometimes people do. We are looking at the dress of the Lord, the background beauty of the Lord. Oh, when we look at the Lord, we just say, wow, that's where I come from. Right? That's someone who has given me everything. And if I'm as Satyachit Anand as the Lord, then there is no need for me to be sad or angry or jealous or any of those. So if you think of that, then there is no should in it. It's very personal thing. And like what Prabhuji was saying, that we gradually develop in it. And we don't need to follow anyone else. What we have discussed today, it's very relevant to the session, because within the session, in this mantra, we are focusing on how to pray. And when we pray, Krishna will reveal himself, but he will reveal himself just due to the mercy. But the mercy is already there. So basically, what do we need to do when we do the prayers? Our consciousness should be pure, right? And the consciousness is not just based on the water and the soap. However, it's great to be. It's great to be number 10, doing the mala in Brahmurat. But if we can't do it, if the circumstances don't allow, do not deprive yourself from the Lord. I didn't say should, I said do not, right? It's better not. However, again at this end, it's very personal thing. If you don't feel like it, then I can't say you should do this or you shouldn't do it. But if you will do it, maybe you realize, because see, you take the name of the Lord and you develop the taste in it. And then you realize, well, I know I'm not clean. My body is not clean. But I don't want to miss that taste while chanting. So let me get going. Let me get going. And this is where the taste will develop slowly, gradually. But there are many other ways, and Krishna works in mysterious ways. Everyone is different, and Krishna is so merciful. For different devotees, Krishna will appear himself very differently, very differently. So thank you so much. even though slide-wise we didn't progress, but the topic-wise we have progressed further, and we had a great discussion on this. I would like to say thank you for your association, and I look forward to see you again next weekend, where we'll get further on this topic. Meanwhile, if anything comes to your mind, feel free, let me know. You know the WhatsApp group, we can let the conversation happen there, and we will join back again next weekend. With that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.